This is ACOFAE. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present a collection of fandoms and exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content, and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from This Poison Heart and This Wicked Fate, with mentions of death of a parent. Please see show notes for full details.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to ACOFAE, your weekly deep dive into the fantasy, literature, and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are discussing This Wicked Fate by Kaylin Bayron,
which is book 2 in the This Poison Heart series. And it's really exciting because I feel like it's been a while since we've kind of done books back to back. Usually they're either all kind of they're getting spread out. But this one was really fun because the last time that we covered a book this fast where we were just like, we need to pick up the next one immediately was Penn Cole's Spark of the Everflame series. Actually, the real name is the Kindred's Curse Saga. But we kind of like redid our whole schedule for that series because we were just so enthralled, and those episodes that you can find back in early 2025. But this is the next one, and this one is so fun. And I feel like we said this in episode 1 for This Poison Heart. She's becoming like, if she's releasing something, we're reading it, because we also covered her last July 2025 with Cinderella is Dead.
Yeah, really excellent book so far. This Wicked Fate, this is me, Laura Marie. I initially was like, oh, because it is a short book. It is a short book. I did the audio version of this. Towards the end, I was at a 225, but my first go through, I was at a 185. It is short. We're talking like less than 6. And I was like, oh, we're wrapping up that quickly. But we do wrap up that quickly. And something that I really appreciate about this book is that I know it's like a YA kind of situation, but there is just like a really pleasant recap of like everything that happened in the first book as we're getting into this second book, which is just very lovely, very like, yay, thank you for jogging my memory, even though we went right into this. And also things to address a travel book, if there ever was one. Yes. Ever. And follows the pattern perfectly, lovely. There are some more details that I would prefer that were included in the first 5, but I am getting bitchy about that in my old age. So, it's wrapped up nicely in the 5.
I feel like every time you say like, oh, we need it in more, arguably you could say, oh, the whole thing was wrapped up in the whole book. But I mean, we have a lot going on. It picks up right where we left off. So I think that's also really fun. And like you said, they do the recap. We get jogged and you're thrown right into it. And as much as it's a travel book, I have a question, knowing how I say short in air quotes, right? Because we're listening at a different speed. If it wasn't YA, could it have been all one large book?
Yes, I think so. I think there could be things that could be whittled down here and there to make it like one cohesive, long-ish book. But I say that when I just today picked up again Sufriel's Hand by the late Melissa McPhail, and at a 175, that book is still 18 plus hours. So, you know.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, we say that, but we also, again, everybody reads at different speeds. But getting right into it. So we have kind of the, where do we pick up? We have Briseis. Her mom is currently dead, and Hecate said, look, I'll do what I can. I may be able to protect her soul for the next 28 days, because it's not a full month. It's just till the next full moon cycle. And you need to find all of the parts of the absurdist heart. And we find some of them at the end of the book. We also know, some of them are people, because it is chugging through the veins of those that we know. And we have blood relatives that are joining, us at the end of that first book. And again, where we're picking back up. And once again, the adults are shining. Like, I think that was one of the first things I go, wow, they're still so supportive. I mean, even when Briseis' aunt comes back into the picture, you can tell where she goes that there's this, culturally, she goes, I don't know if I really refer to her as an auntie yet because I've never known her. And that comes full circle at the end of the book. But it also shows that you can have a respect, and titles are earned, respect is earned, and nothing is forced upon her by Mo, who is Briseis' other mom, who we still have and is on site. And everybody's trying to say, like, what can we do within the next 28 days to bring Briseis' mom back, bring Tandy back? Because, Hecate says she's a god, but she's also not the god of the underworld. She's not the god of the afterlife. There's only so much, she can do from Hades, which it was also really interesting with this book that we've been so accustomed to reading Hades Persephone's retelling where he's not the villain, where in this one, he is the traditional Hades that we have become so accustomed to growing up.
Well, and yes. And I was thinking when you were saying that the references to Hadestown again in this book were just enough. Just enough to be like fun and ha ha ha, but not like reference. I enjoyed that.
Well, and the same thing with like we've said this with pop culture vein, and I also will follow up with this in a second, where they go, okay, Jafar, okay, wait a second, Hercules was a piece of shit. He killed his family. I only know about the Muses, and I ride hard. I mean, we all ride with the Muses, right? We all ride with Hercules, our Disney version. But again, it's such a pop culture reference where, reading back on it, will that change? Will it change with the digital space? I mean, we talk about physical media, but there are that conversation is happening in the book space now where they go, wait a second, I have the physical copy and this is the, XYZ was what was referenced in pop culture. And now I just happen to have my Kindle and I'm reading it on my Kindle and they changed pop culture reference points. I think recently somebody pointed out that the show for Off Campus, they referenced Ted Lasso, but in the book, it's not Ted Lasso that's referenced because the book came out in 2015. But Ted Lasso came out in 2020. So digital, again, going back to our, physical copy, soapboxes here.
I mean, we should all just live on that digital or physical copy soapbox. It's so important. But okay, let's get into this story. So Circe shows up. She's got 2 of the hearts. She's alive. She's confused. She is in a lover's quarrel with Dr. Grant right away. And she's like, Kadisha, get the fuck up out of my house. And Kadisha's like, I've been trying to help. She's like, Marie and Persephone are reunited. They are best friends, different, distant relatives, all that stuff. Everybody is introduced to everybody. It is important to point out that Mo is depressed, in shock, and slightly stinky, which is a running gag through the whole book, is that Mo stinks and
and the shaving of the armpit.
Yeah. I mean,
she's I know that you want to be all natural, but
I mean, Mo's just catching strays. I don't know what it was necessary to make Mo
it
stinky.
Wasn't in the first book, right? I didn't miss that in the first book.
I knew she was all natural, but I didn't realize that she was they specifically say that she stunk like onion. Poor thing. Anyway, she's depressed because obviously Briseis' mom has been dead, and now everybody starts talking. And Briseis is met with this ongoing dilemma that Jess pointed out earlier of this whole auntie concept, because Circe says yo, man, you were not supposed to be here, Miss Briseis. And I didn't write you the letters. I didn't leave you the keys. I didn't write you the map. there's a huge responsibility here that me and Celine like didn't want you to have. However, you can have it. Like, don't think that you can't have it. I don't want it. You can have it. And Briseis is like, that is weird and complicated. And I am going to like sit with that and work through all of that throughout the rest of the book. And that like ends with her calling her auntie and being like accepted into the fold. But that is its own like familial journey that Briseis goes on that is really like third or fourth most important plot line happening, I guess. Like there's just a lot going on in a short book.
Well, yeah, and I not just a plot line, but it's like an intertwining theme, right, that we see with her relationships with different people. What does that mean? And it doesn't lessen the relationship that she has with people in your life. And I think a lot of people go through similar dynamics, whether, even, when you're adopted, when you're not adopted, when you have your found family, because that is kind of, a giant found family trope, while also being biologically found family based on different lineages, and where ultimately they all go back to their deep history with Medea and Hecate and the gods. And, and we haven't even spoken, about the enemies of it all, because Carter's still in the picture. Carter's still out there. He's the quote unquote friend. And there were parts in this book where I had to remind myself, like, oh, this is YA. She still has a heart. She's still not completely jaded. And again, she's better than me. The way I would just cut somebody off so you killed my mother. You were an accomplice to killing my mother. You want me to have, and then, we'll get into it, but we meet another god along the way. We meet Hermes, who is sharing. He was like, oh, I thought this was interesting. Do you think that, what did he say? Do you think that he is condemned forever or something? Is there no way to bring him back? And she's like, I don't know. I'm mad at him right now. That's not my job, But again, this is, I do appreciate I don't know if it's the attitude, but the holding accountable, even within the conversations of each other, of calling the gods out to be like, oh, it's convenient for them. Oh, and for all we know, they just don't feel like telling us. It has nothing to do with, again, we also meet the original Persephone in this. They just want to walk away. They just don't want to participate in the conversation. For all we know, it could actually be something they can't tell us, or they're just being lazy. We are just toys to them. And that is an ongoing thing within all of Greek mythology with these Greek gods, is that humans are just playthings and we are all collateral damage to them.
I do think it's important to remind everybody and us that Briseis is like 16.
Yes.
Like she's a child. She's a child. She's going to save him. She's not going to murder him in cold blood. She is not us. And that is an important...
Wait, she's better than us, but she's 16.
She's 16. She's not jaded. I'd just murder him straight up. How dare you? But she is better than us. She is not us. Okay. I also think it's important that Carter, there's like a split here, because Carter was there and saw Hecate like in the flesh. He was there, and he actively chose to not tell his family that. And his family does not believe that the gods are real at all. They want to have the heart to have themselves become the gods. They don't think that they still are out there and exist. That was Carter's mom's like own special delusion, that she believed that the gods are real. Of course, she was right. Isn't that crazy? But honestly, like the first big chunk of this book is just Circe inserting herself back into the life in the manor and the life with like Briseis, and kind of like mentoring her in like the plants and helping her like understand that like she's not immune. She actually like absorbs the poison. She can't get drunk. She had, all of these like finer like little details of her power. But Circe also recognizes that Briseis is like a fuck ton more talented than she ever was at her age. And like she can do things like transmute the heart that Circe could never do. She was just like, whoa, you could do that. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it is in this like time frame that Circe explains that they have to go find the mother plant that is like the final remaining piece, because they have all of the pieces. They have Persephone, they have Marie, they have the Philosopher's Stone, and they have the 2 pieces from that Circe's like carrying around in cages. And they just need the main one, the heart. And they're like, and Circe takes a lot of time to explain like the burden that this heart has like kind of taken over her life, and that she felt selfish for a really long time for wanting to lay down the burden. And her and Persephone have been out searching to try to find the final resting place of the heart. And she thinks it's on this like island.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's out in Greece, and she has been searching for it. And all of that was for naught. Like it's so the pressure that builds in these first like few chapters as everybody tries to like get a plan together because they have this ticking clock is like so intense, and everybody handles it in a different way. Like Marie gets snippy, like Circe gets like really intense about herself. Mo gets depressed. Bree spends a lot of time outside in the garden, just like trying to be in the quiet. And when all of this happens and, you know, they go see Philip and they get the shard that, you know, and they go to, Marie's, what is it? Her like great uncle. And, you know, he talks them through all of the history. And when it's finally go time, when Mo has passed out from meeting a griffin named Roscoe, when Mo has been lied to, when Briseis has lied to Mo to her face and run out the door with Mo screaming behind her. Oh my God.
When she thought that she's like, I'm just going to do it in the dark of night, in the middle of the night. I'll leave a little note. It's just like an apology. Trust me. I can't believe, because she's doing this in the depth of her mother's depression. And she's like, and she's also recognizing it. She's like, I know Mo is depressed because my mom is currently dead. And either all is going to be forgiven when I get back because I'm going to have mom, or I'm going to be gone with her. And I don't even know how to grasp that. But what Briseis knows is that if she doesn't try, that's going to eat at her more. And then I was wondering, because it's not about, I know we talked about this in the first book episode for This Poison Heart. It's not even about, you know, how we differentiate mom and Mo. There is no, this is the favorite parent over another. Because if roles were reversed and it was Mo who died, Briseis would be doing the same exact thing. So, and I think Mo knows that. Like, I just feel like she just knows that it's just part of the journey. But Mo, again, always on alert, especially when it comes to Bree. The chasing, I mean, you said this in the first episode when we talked about it in book 1, you can see it play out on screen. Like the adaptation for this, I mean, with the trees, with the chasing, with the getting on the griffin, with the, and we're going up. I didn't think of this through. And then, you know, there's so many layers because, you know, I know you love logistics. We love logistics here on the podcast. When they're talking about chartering a plane, when they're talking about, okay, we need to get different identities because technically some of us involved, unlike our dad, can be flagged to, you know, to everybody who's traveling. There's so many moving parts because, like you said, it is a travel book. So it's just a lot of conversation, but a lot of moving characters, but not in a way that feels overwhelming.
And where do they travel? Well, they stay in their area. They do lots of things in Rhinebeck. They go to Albany to see Philip. They go to the Brooklyn Museum to meet the Fates. That was crazy. I was not expecting that at all. I was totally taken by surprise. I just love that. And to my point, the museum and the Fates stuff happens around chapter 7 or so. So it doesn't really fit the pattern. But all of the travel plans and the discussion about the sirens and, like Nyx's pet, all of that stuff happens by chapter 5. So that is enough to like satisfy me, to know like, we're going to the island. Like that is the plot of that's the rest of the book. Everything else is like the details to fill that in. So it satisfies me. But this Brooklyn Museum situation with the fates, like I could picture that, speaking to what you were saying about seeing it on screen, I could picture like going down in the elevator and like the pressure and then coming out and climbing out of the well. I still associate that with the ring, but you get it. And just, it's so like interesting, like, and the fear of Marie and Circe seeing something that Briseis doesn't see, and they don't tell her about it. And she is like, I think not very quick on the uptake about what is going on, honestly. She is in denial about it until the very last second. I'm like, girl, wake up.
I feel like she's very tunnel vision, because I was going to say, in addition to that, is that there is a layer of Briseis that she is still, I mean, everybody who's involved in her life right now outside of her parents, they know the depths of the lore and the history and what that means and the severity that can come with it and the people that they're working with. So when Briseis is like popping off on the fates, there's also fear from others involved. We're like, you can't speak to gods like that. You can't speak to the fates like that. You're acting very blasé and flippant, you know? And I get it. Yes, she's 16. She's heard the lore, but to her, everything is just I don't want to say milestone. Everything is just impeding her way right now for her final goal, which is, I don't want to say, which is restoring her mom back to life.
I mean, she's on her own, like, hero's quest, honestly. Like, she has a mission. She has a dwindling time frame. Everybody else get the fuck out of her way. This is what she has to do. And these are the people that are going to support her. Like, I respect it. I respect it. But before they go, they have to root out the rat in Rhinebeck. And that is Lucifer, which is just like lovely. Just, you know, of course it is. And he is just a egomaniac, kind of inferiority, weird, jealous, psycho guy.
Yeah, I mean, they have a play on his words for his name alone. And you know what?
Yeah.
Again, I think this is because there is a layer of tapping into traditional Greek mythology with how we know these characters to be.
Yeah. And it is through this like conversation with Lucifer and that Circe has that everybody, us, the reader, learns too, that he's the rat. He's the one that told Carter's family about everything that was happening at the house with Circe, with Briseis. He's been leaking information for like years, even though he's been covering it up, because they offered to make him basically a god and give him a piece of the heart. And he says like, oh, well, you know, they're going to get the great eye. They're going to the lighthouse, you know, all of this stuff. And they're like, oh my God, the all-seeing eye, the lighthouse, they're ahead of us. Holy shit. And they still have, at this point, 2 weeks until they can like do anything. And they're still planning, like, we're going to use the eye to find Aya, like all of this stuff, all of this stuff. And it is during this time that Carter, who again should be dead. By the end of this, definitely should be dead. Carter calls and says like to go to Abana. And everybody's like, okay, is that like a trap? Like, what should we do? Is that like real? But it is. And that they end up going there.
Well, let's speak. Carter is, it's so interesting because he's also trying to stay in touch with Briseis at these points where he's like, don't go here. Like, my family's going to try to kill you if you try to go after the heart. Like, he's giving, I think he's also trying to find redemption. And then there's also a layer of, was he in survival mode? I mean, that happens a lot too, where we've also, you know, speak about not just in YA books. You have people who are, you know, in trigger warning, abusive relationships where you're just going to be complacent with the person around you because that is how you're surviving. And I feel like maybe, again, Briseis is 16. And so we're going to assume, and we're not, you know, we're going to assume that's where part of her, she's like, oh, I can see it. And I think there is a level of empathy where, you know, speaking for both of us right now, is you're like, can I see it? Yeah. Do I have to like it? No. Because I still think he should be dead.
He should be dead. So we're still waiting, but it's almost time to go. It's almost time to go. While we're waiting to go, Persephone, who has been very helpful and who has bonded with Mo a little bit, and who is incredibly strong, but is different than Marie, who's been 17 forever. Okay, it's different. They're different. It's funny and it's different. But Persephone asked Briseis if she can have the garden so that she can do an offering to Hecate, and she does. And Briseis like spies on this for like, I still don't buy the reason. I'm going to get more flag. You could, no. But she goes and she spies on Persephone doing this. And so does Circe, which like, girl, what are you doing? But it's basically Persephone offering herself up to Hecate and being like, please only take me. Like, I know everything that's going to go down. Like, please bring Marie back. Like, please let me be the ultimate sacrifice.
I was going to say, like, that's not going, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. And Circe, like, bursts out of the bushes, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing, you bitch? Like, you can't do that. And Briseis is like, this is grown folk business. Bye.
And, like, that is her mentality. She's like, oh, this is not for me. I need to dip.
Nope.
Which,
this is not.
Honestly, good question mark for Briseis, because I was the person that my brother had like this spy kit when we were growing up, and he was like, oh, I'm going to play spy. I'm going to be like, have like headphones and like the sonar radar. The second he would go to sleep, I would find that shit. And I was like, I wanted to peep in on the adult conversations. I don't know what's happening, but I want to know what's going on, to the point where my family like nicknamed me Ears for years, because I wanted to listen into everything. Even if they didn't know, I was like, I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be creeping around the corner. I'll be there.
I'll be there. I'll be there. Okay. So it's okay. Chapter 13. It's go time. It's go time. We're running off of the Griffin. We meet everybody. We're puking. We get Persephone's story. 1630. Persephone was born. She's land grant for free black families, and her family, their family, the Kolkis family, had one of the few grants that were given. And then we get the sickness with Estrella, Marie, all of that stuff. And we're still on the plane. This is just like passing conversation on the plane, which, excellent. We get a little character development. Perfect. We get that Marie thinks, like, her deepest thought is that she is a monster. So later, spoiler, when her immortality is stripped, it's like, oh, that was planted right here, when she confessed out loud that she had these feelings. Well, that's a nice little wrap up bow. So excellent.
Well, and she says it a little bit scattered throughout the rest of the book, to the point where Briseis is like, you need to stop, it's the mental health part of it. You need to stop speaking negatively about yourself, because would a monster do this? Would a monster do this? Like, you think this one thing of yourself. And again, like, we are all our, biggest critics, but you have no idea how everybody else sees you. And then even later on, she goes, you think I see you like this. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing this person who saved me. I'm seeing this person who is kind. I'm seeing somebody who is just kind of selfless in a way. And you need to see yourself the way I see you. And I feel like that's, like, again, YA book. What a message to hear. I feel like a lot of kids who like this age range targets now, they're like, yeah, I know you all are beating us over the head with this message, but it's also so important that these books are being written, because this message was not drilled into us when we were in that age. So yeah, you might like this age targeted demographic. It's just important for all ages to hear that message too.
And technically that's an age gap relationship, because Marie's old as fuck.
I know, because how many times they're like, yeah, because again, Briseis says at one point, I know Maria is 17 and she's eternally 17, but she's 17 with like 300 something years of experience. And I was like, okay, Twilight. How long have you been 17, Marie?
How long have you been 17? How fast are you, Marie? Okay. We go through customs in France. We pay them bitches off. We land in Istanbul. Hell yeah. We get a car. We get to Abana. We drive around. Can't find a lighthouse. We have lunch. We figure out the lighthouse in the next town. We go and meet Mr. Herman, who, I mean, obviously is Hermes, which is so funny, because apparently he looks exactly like Carter and all of his relatives, and they met. And Mr. Herman was like, nah, I didn't help them. fuck them. Nah. And Bree's like, they're your relatives. Like, did you not notice?
I love that he was like, okay, it's been hundreds of years. My 1000th great relative. Color me shocked.
Yeah. Did not care. Did not care. So funny. After a little bit of convincing and proving of powers and such, Hermes decides to help them. He gets them a big, like they say, like Pirates of the Caribbean ass type boat, which is so funny. They get the best noise canceling headphones that money can buy to help with the sirens, and off they go. With the knowledge that everybody except Briseis believes that they are going to die on this mission. So much so that they have made contingency plans for Briseis alone so that she can get back by herself with her mom no matter what happens. And Briseis does not recognize or acknowledge that.
No, the only thing she recognizes is that why is everybody talking to each other like it's the last time they're ever going to see each other? Y'all are being fucking weird. We're all going back.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. But again, she is, put us back in Briseis' headspace. She is 16. Yes, she knows what she's up against, but I don't think she understands the depth of it because she, again, is just finding out about all of this and everybody else knows what is actually at stake. Even when she's met Hecate, she's met Hermes, she knows the stakes that are happening, but 16, she's like, okay, well, we've also the mentality of, well, we've gotten this far and look how well we're doing.
Well, and
she has to be like a fire sign or something because the way she just trusts the universe, and I mean that in like the best way possible. And you're like, I'm going to dive into it and we'll figure it out as I go. Because if I spend all of this time doing the research, I will never do the thing.
Well, and how well are they doing? Honestly, how well are they doing? They're on the boat. Bree is throwing up everywhere, but she covers the boat in Devil's Pet to just try to help them a little bit more with the sirens. Surprise! The sirens attack. Surprise! The sirens attack, and there's a huge battle. Marie goes under. She's lured by the sirens. Bree saves her. It's a whole big thing. But then a woman on shore, a huge woman, I just like that detail, a huge woman on shore, is playing a lyre. And, we find out that it's Persephone and she's like, hello, Hecate asked me to come and help you get on shore. That's all I'm doing. Bye. If you make it out, I'll see you back here, but that's all I'm doing.
Pieces the fuck out. But again, all of the gods keep doing this. I feel bad for them. You're like, at what point? Because Briseis even says, at what point? Like they are clearly picking and choosing when they want to be involved because she even calls Hermes out on this. He goes, you try to act all so indifferent about humans. Then why are you here? Why are you cosplaying as one? You clearly have some sort of interest that you want there to be a connection. And honestly, the same can be said about all the gods, especially when you track back to like their traditional lore that we are, that is still under the microscope in this book.
And I mean, the lore in this book is about to go crazy, right? Okay. So we're on the island and there's another group of people that have landed on the island that they are aware of. So that's Carter and his family. On the other side, where there's where it's alluded to, there's like a big kraken or something out there that just like destroys ships. So scary side of the island, but they made it. Cool. So they have learned that Medea's grave is in the center of the island. So they're like, that's cool. And it's not that big. Let's just right down the middle. We'll find it. They don't. They get captured. Drugged, technically kind of drug sleep. That's kind of druggy.
I thought the drug knocks them out.
Yeah. And so they get separated and drugged. And then we meet Carter's like cousins and they're all pieces of shit. It's like Viv, like Drew, right? And Calvin and Katrina was their sister, and they tried. Calvin tried to go into the Poison Garden gate, and he couldn't, and he is just like dying, absolutely dying. And it's in this like capture scene where only Briseis is that Viv drinks the invisibility elixir that was given by Alec before everybody left, and that's how they kind of like figured out about i.e. being cloaked too, as they put that all together. But the invisibility elixir is very satisfying because they mention it, and they mention the plant that causes the wind to blow earlier in the book. So it's really satisfying when it comes up again. But they've mentioned that wolfsbane is a primary ingredient in the invisibility potion, and you can only wear it for a little bit because it's toxic. So this is a really satisfying payoff to a seemingly throwaway line earlier in the book.
But then you have the moment again, it's the quote unquote villain has their, you can't capture me. I know what I've told you. This is exactly like your parts of the absurdist heart. I'm going to drink the invisibility potion, essentially, that's masking it. And then you have, they think they're having their, I've overcome this whole thing, to, oh, by the way, that's toxic. You're not immune to it. That all, like you said, is very satisfying. Every time we talk about these scenes, especially that they stand out, it's the way that you want it depicted on an adaptation that's not a movie. You want it in a series. You want to see it get fleshed out that way because, the tools are there, the story is there. And that, again, is a testament to Caitlin.
Absolutely. I mean, you could really just see this coming alive because we're being like marched through the jungle, right, to the clearing. We've got Dre, we've got Bree, we've got Viv, who's just about dead. And we're there. We're at the gate. It's huge. We're there, and it's no good. Carter gets punched in the face. We love that for him. Circe gets the sleep. She's eventually revived. Calvin ends up dying, and Persephone kills Dre. Like, boom, they're all dead. And Carter's like, and Carter starts bitching. He's like, but I helped you. My mom would have killed me. He killed my. Shut up. Die. She's not me, though. So that's fine. He gets in a cage of vines. All right, whatever. You know what? Leave him there. Yeah. Okay.
But again, I think this is where, when we do read YA, I always, because you helped me reframe it in our last episode, where I was like, I know, YA, but I'm with you 100% every time. And then I have to reel it back in. I was like, I'm having a fun time. I would just be handling it differently, but I'm handling it differently at my age. Not how I would handle. I don't think I could handle shit at 16.
No, I couldn't handle any of this at 16. Oh my God, you give me plant power, I'm taking over the world. Are you shitting me? Keep that secret. I'm Poison Ivy. I'm an environmentalist. I'm taking over the world. Plants are like, just please, don't give me any kernel of power. I need the. All right. This is the end. We're in chapter 21. We're there. We're reuniting. We see the mother. Here we go. Marie takes her place. Persephone takes her place. The philosopher's stone goes in. The two other caged hearts go in. We say a tearful goodbye. And then like needly vines come out and suck the blood out of everybody. Marie and Persephone are dead. The heart gets, the mother gets sucked back down into the earth. And then timeline wise, it's just like we cry until it's dark as fuck, which we're sad because everybody's dead, and we cry, and then the ground erupts and out comes Absurdus. They did it. They did it with like the barest nick of time left. Out he comes. Where's my sister? Where's my sister? Oh, she's dead. Holy shit. She's been dead a long time. That sucks. And then he goes, mother. And then the abyss splits open, and out comes Hecate and her dog because, of course, bad bitch has her dog.
Of course. And then you have, it's the whole, like, you've returned my son. I need to start life for a life, soul for a soul. And this is how we're like rekindling everything. But at the same time, it's they don't say it, but you have the whole magic has to balance, and that is what is happening here, because you have Briseis, you have Marie and Persephone done. But, again, talking about having a full closed circle moment that you have here at the end. Then you think of back earlier in the book where you have Persephone giving her offering to Hecate. Like, that conversation plays out here because she does change out. She's like, you know what? Like, give Marie back. You can have me. And of course, Briseis is trying to have it all. So she's like, no, don't do that. And they're like, no, like Hecate has to explain. This was always going to be, she had always from the beginning offered herself. But, you also gave me my son back. So life for a life, there's your mom, and runs to mom. She's like, I did it. I succeeded. It's wonderful.
It's a huge thing. Reunite. Everybody's reunited. And then, Hecate is like, actually, Marie's alive and I will see you again. It's like, really? What? Why? Wait, why? She's like, woo, bye.
It's the gods. It's the huge gods.
Yeah, woo, bye. Okay. They get Carter out of the cage. Again, why? And they give him to Hermes. Like, here, you want redemption? Fix him. You two fix each other. Hecate and Persephone play the lyre, our Persephone, and the sirens retreat and off they go. The island disappears. It's you can see it. It is revealed that Marie is mortal. Hecate is like, you're mortal, which is like really funny. And then it's like, boom, you're home. Boom. It's like wrapping up. So it's like so fast. It's like, Carter, you stay here with Hermes. Like, we're in Turkey. You stay here with Hermes. Bye. He gives her a note, like, bye, and it's just like, then we're back in the car getting home. It's like, okay, sure. Cut. All right, fine. And then we're reunited and we're crying. We're reunited. Mom, Briseis, and they pull Circe in. So it's a full family circle and, everybody's there. And Briseis starts talking about this is my reminder that I can, just as you said, have it all. I don't have to choose. I can have all of my family. Everybody can be here. And this was just the physical representation of everybody being together. It was just very lovely. And then we have a nice little epilogue, chapter 24, 6 months later. Marie's bad at the phones at the apothecary. Our moms are setting up a local flower shop downtown and business is booming. The apothecary has gone online. And again, Mo is still stinky. 6 months later, Mo is still stinky. And Circe gives her a special natural deodorant to wear. No, okay. Knowing that Briseis is so comfortable telling Mo that she smells so bad, I am wondering what Mom thinks and why Mom isn't saying, hey, Mo, you smell bad. I couldn't live with a stinky person.
Or is she? And that is why Briseis feels so comfortable telling her. Is wife saying, hey, babe, you need to take another shower. You need to use aluminum deodorant. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Circe and Dr. Grant are dating. Marie and Briseis have really solidified their relationship. They are girlfriend. And again, Marie, this is an age gap relationship that nobody is acknowledging. That's fine. But Marie will age now from 17 on. And she is vulnerable in a new special way.
I was going, and a part of me was going to be like, is it an age gap anymore because it's immortal? But at the same time, she has those 300 extra years.
Yeah, the memories are still there.
Yeah, it's not like she started from scratch. There's no eternal sunshine of this. She is exactly who she was. She's just not immortal. And then it also brings into the conversation of knowing that Persephone, you had the absurdist heart, you were immortal. And we've had this conversation about immortality and if a vampire bites you, who are you biting first? All of those things. And everybody's like, oh, immortality sucks. I don't know. It's supposed to be there's more to life, but I feel the messaging isn't more I don't want my mortality. It's I want to sacrifice myself for love. And that is kind of the bigger message. Would you have sacrificed yourself?
It depends honestly on the people.
Of course.
What family have I been born into? What is the situation? What am I working with? I'm not going to be uninformed. So if it was Briseis' family, absolutely. Absolutely. These are the best people. This is unconditional love at its peak. This is the ultimate familial dynamic. So for this family, absolutely. For other families, I'd need to weigh the pros and cons.
Carter's family, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Fuck them. Fuck them. I do want to say that this book ends with a Moulin Rouge quote. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I just want to be loved and to be loved in return. Fantastic end to that book. Jessica Marie, have a confession to you. Would you like to know it?
Of course.
My confession to you is actually, I did look up some of the plants this time. Actually, I did.
Did you do it because I said something? Or were you like, I'm actually kind of curious now?
They were naming so many that I was like, okay. I need some frame of reference.
And it wasn't like, this is a chrysanthemum, this was a rose, this was a lily. No, these are like scientific name plants. And I feel like that, especially in the beginning, you were like, whoa, I thought I got a lot in the first book. And I almost thought, are we deep diving in all of this now, even more so? And what kind of value added does it? But I do think it helps us understand, Briseis a bit more and like all of her family and the depths of it. And not, I don't want to say family lore, but like it's more of her history and how I'm just so fascinated by her family because, again, especially with the epilogue, and then you think of how book one is and how integrated the family was with the community. You have the community. It's not just the familial bonds that you have the community bonds too, which I think that's also just a conversation that we always have in we're always having, but especially in 2026 is like the people yearn for community. And you see that, really continuing what like that life looks like here in the epilogue in book two.
This would just be such a fun upstate New York, small town magic, not sitcom, but like CW. I don't know,
like remember when when CW had the Secret Circle?
Yes, something like that. Something like that, but with the small town, like Gilmore Girls kind of vibe.
Yes.
But with like actual diversity. I just think that would be just such a fun sell. And there are other things too, like that Baby Dragon bookshop that we read as well, that would also fit in the same vein of like something fun that you could really sink your teeth into, that's enjoyable, that would necessitate a higher quality and a bit more money to really make it work, because you couldn't have these plants looking cheap. They'd have to be looking good, right? And that takes the monies.
Well, and I think looking cheap would do a disservice, not just for the storytelling and like the visuals, but for the audience, because I feel like because these are such niche genres that people, and we've had this conversation before, if it looks cheap, it's going to be hard to gravitate to. I mean, you can make, you have all these, Christmas, holiday specials, and they could look as cheap as you want in the present day. You kind of like, that's the shtick. That's what makes them fun. But in these sci-fi romanticy, still fun, still light, still stakes at play, you can't have them look cheap, because that's not what is going to draw the audience, especially that's going to be what the studios want. They're not looking for the niche audience. They're looking to see how they can have a mass appeal, because at the end of the day, right now, their bottom line is their bottom dollar.
I just want to shout out, as we're wrapping, that Apple TV seems to just throw money at stuff, not promote it, and have it be the most excellent thing that you have ever seen. Editor Sam and I are deep into Dune Prophecy, which is the prequel series about the kind of creation and establishment of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, and it is top tier fantastic. And that is on, I believe, HBO Max. But again, there are ways that things can be done to a high standard. Like when you see it and point to it and say, it can be done. It is frustrating when these other stories that deserve to be lifted up and made more accessible do not get the attention nor the funding that they deserve in this situation. Just to point out again, like Dune Prophecy is diverse, but nowhere near as diverse as this story specifically that we're speaking of. So again, I really wish that we were just in charge of everything.
Oh, that's the goal, right? Be in charge of everything, have plant powers and poison ivy environmentalists. Let's just do all the things. We'll just have a whole little checkbox to feel like how we can run the show. But we can run our show. And thank you so much for listening and following along with us. We're at ACOFAE Podcast on Instagram. We're also both on TikTok, ACOFAE Laura and ACOFAE Jessica. Please feel free to rate us 5 stars on all of your listening platforms. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.